irony, or at the very least, the wordplay is striking. The team that has the vaunted collective death lineup has been killing the Celtics with just one guy. Steph Curry, whose long-term place in history is certainly secure, is only worried about his immediate future. All he has to do, if form and lack of help holds, is single-handedly now win a best-of-3 series against the league's best defense for the league's biggest prize. Our Brian Windhorst explains, well, challenge for Curry has been accepted.
These NBA Finals are coming down to one factor. The Celtics are telling Steph Curry, try to beat us by yourself. Curry has issued his answer. Challenge accepted.
Curry, it's good! Steph Curry from downtown! But that shot was absolutely ridiculous.
Boston has the league's best defense, and they believe the Warriors are beatable if Curry's teammates are held at bay. This is how they've chosen to defend the Warriors star, refusing to send defenders and take away his space and daring him to have huge games.
Back to Curry, step back, three-pointer, bang! Steph Curry drills the three! The brilliance of Steph Curry on full display here in Boston.
The result? Curry is averaging 34 points and shooting 50% from the field. He understood the challenge in Game 4 especially, coming out on the attack and taking his most shots of the series with 26.
They have a certain defensive identity that has been successful for them. You obviously understand in a series, adjustments can happen on the fly in between games. You got to be ready to adapt. And I think I'll be ready for that.
But the Celtics aren't unhappy. The Warriors have been averaging almost 10 fewer points per game than in the last round against the Mavericks, and they're shooting about 8% lower. They think this strategy is working.
I think the narrative gets shifted to Curry and what he's doing, but in our wins and losses, they're scoring the same points.
Here's where this championship is likely to get decided. The Celtics are betting Curry can't keep this up. Curry is trying to prove he can. It could be a wild and historic ride to the finish.
And on that note, Steph Curry is nothing if not historic, and Brian joins SportsCenter tonight. So Sunday, Ime Udoka said their game plan was working well enough to win. What should Steph Curry think about that statement?
Zubin, I think Steph Curry is probably borderline shocked that the Celtics are playing him this way. In high-stakes game dating back to when he was in high school, he was used to getting heavy double teams, everybody trying to force the ball out of his hands. This is not the way he's experienced most of his NBA career. And so he has almost been reluctant to shoot as much as he might need to in this system. He had just 22 shots per game over the first 3 games. Game 4, 26 shots. Wouldn't stun me, especially if the Warriors need it, that he might get up towards 30 in Game 5, and the Celtics are comfortable with it. Ime Udoka said, we should be ahead 3-1 in this series right now. Not because of what Steph Curry did to us, but because our offense has been struggling. The Celtics believe they can win this way. Curry believes this is great. Explosions to follow.
Yeah, challenging Steph is a recipe for disaster in most cases, but if you feel you're up 3-1, you should be in control. We'll see. All right, the other head coach making some big news in the fourth quarter of Game 4. Everybody talking about the Draymond Green benching for part of the final period. It's been talked about ad nauseum. What's the game plan heading into Game 5 in that regard?
I think you will see something similar from the Warriors. Now, Steve Kerr refused to acknowledge he was going to stick with the starting lineup change that he made in Game 4, where he put Otto Porter in for Kevon Looney. But forget about who starts. Look at the box score. Kevon Looney played about 10 more minutes in Game 4 than he did in Game 3, and Draymond Green played about 5-6 fewer minutes between 3 and 4. I think you should look for that to continue. Draymond Green is still going to have a big role, and he's still going to be expected to provide a lot. But Kevon Looney has been terrific, and down the stretch of games, it's clear Steve Kerr probably only wants to play one of them because he can't afford to have 2 non-shooters out there. So in the fourth quarter, Kerr is going to have it on his lap again. Looney or Draymond. It's going to be interesting to see which one he goes with.
Very interesting. Now, Kerr did say this whole benching Draymond thing is nothing new. He even harkened back to the 2016 playoffs when he had to do it against OKC in an effort to diffuse the situation a little bit. Choice is clear. Brian laid out the 2 guys. We'll see what happens if it's close in the fourth on Monday night. Brian, thanks. So, the headline of this series is Draymond is struggling with like 5 Gs on the back. take a look at that. Since the merger, look where he is with regards to field goal percentage. And here's the number that really sticks out. He's picked up 18 fouls while scoring just 17 points through 4 games. More fouls than points scored.
Steph Curry has been carrying the Warriors' big three in these finals. He's outscoring Klay and Draymond, making nearly half his shots. Thompson has the 4th worst percentage through the first 3 games of a finals, and Green's struggles have been well documented.
We have to realize that time is not on our side anymore. Treat tomorrow as a must-win. Even though it's not a closeout game, it's still incredibly important to get one here. That was our goal the whole time, and they just outplayed us game 3. I mean, there's no way around it. And we're gonna, the best part about the playoffs is how you respond, and never underestimate the heart of a champion, and we have a lot of those.
All right, Jay, well, you just heard Klay say time's not on our side anymore. Do you think the title window is closing on the Warriors' big three?
Yes, it's closing. They're getting. I would still give them probably another 2 years or so. But obviously, I think the health of Klay Thompson and is he able to sustain that healthiness is a question, considering he's had 2 injuries that have been devastating injuries. We've seen Steph deal with injuries throughout the course of his career, in particular 2 this year. The one he just had to his ankle, the one that he had to his ankle before against the Celtics and Marcus Smart that held him out for a period of time. Draymond Green has had back issues. I know we can factor health into a lot of teams, but as his team gets older, even though Jordan Poole has continued to ascend, and I do like their pieces of Wiseman and Kuminga, I just wonder how long Steph and Klay can sustain. But I would probably say, Stephen A., it's safe to say if you had a 2-year window that this team can go for it again. But I will tell you, there are other teams in the Western Conference coming. We talk about what the Pelicans can be. If you add Zion, you had C.J. McCollum, who now works with us. You see them in their swing up. You've seen Dallas. If they add a piece, the Clippers are going to be a team that's going to be there. Memphis is going to be a team that's going to get better. There are teams that are going to push them and push the envelope. But I say another 2 years is safe to say the window's open.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the Warriors at all. I've already got them penciled in for next year's conference finals with ease. I'm not concerned, not even a little bit. The fact of the matter is, when Wiseman comes back, you're anticipating that Kuminga will continue to develop along with Moody. Poole is there. He's in his 20s. Okay, Kuminga's 19. Moody's 19. Wiseman's about 21 or so, however old he is. Okay, so I'm looking at those 4 guys right there. I'm looking at Klay and Steph, but I don't worry about age with them as much as everybody else because they're marksmen. See, with somebody like a Russell Westbrook, whose success is predicated on an extreme and elevated level of athleticism, that's different. With Klay and Steph, not so much because they're shooters. And so what I mean by that is, no, Jay, are they going to average 30 or 28 a game? No, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about you can pencil Steph and Klay in for 20 a night with ease over the next several years because they're shooters. And when you're shooters, it's about what you surround them with. So to me, it's about Bob Myers, it's about Joe Lacob, it's about Steve Kerr and the crew, assembling a squad that takes pressure off these guys to be so much physically, so they have the freedom to shoot without having so much of a load placed on their shoulders. If this was back years ago and we're saying what the window is, I would tell you that's closing because Steph and Klay are not getting any younger. There's teams on the come up, and obviously your success is primarily predicated on that. But when you've got these other cats that can make contributions, that can give you solid quality minutes, and then you pair them with Draymond, Klay, and Steph, from a leadership perspective and obviously from a marksmanship perspective, I like Golden State's chances for at least the next 3 years. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, see, I'm with you on 2 to 3 years. Like, I think what they've done with how they've developed talent and how you have Jordan Poole, we'll see how they continue to develop Kuminga, Moses Moody. You talk about Wiseman. Wiseman is talented. He is long, he is athletic, and Draymond Green looks different.
People keep forgetting that.
Exactly. When there's height on the floor, that doesn't force him to be the primary 5 position. Like, it changes the scheme of how they play. But there are other teams knocking on the door in the Western Conference, so Stephen A. There are. They're coming.
Well, listen. If you want to tell me the Clippers, fine, because that's Paul George and that's Kawhi Leonard and with Ty Lue as their coach. You want to talk to me about that? I'm all ears. When we look at everybody else scouring the Western Conference, the bottom line is they're all looking for that next dude. Dallas has got to find him. Minnesota's got to develop him. Denver has to hope dudes are healthy next year. We assume they'll be, but they've been going for a while themselves. You've got a lot of question marks. I'm saying the Golden State Warriors with these veterans when they were younger, albeit 5, 6, and 7 years ago, remember, they had the Zsa Pachulias and the Andrew Bogut's as their center. Not to disqualify them by any stretch. They were rim protectors. They could rebound. They were big bodies that could make a difference. Wiseman can ball. And this notion that Draymond Green is just going to fade and he's not going to benefit from having a guy like that at his disposal, you know what? That's something that I don't think that we should ignore. We got to keep our eyes on Kevon Looney because he played lights out in the Dallas series. But at the end of the day, I think it was Dallas or Memphis. But the bottom line is this. You look at him, he's devoid of athleticism. He doesn't rim protect. He does rebound. He knows the system. He's absolutely loved and adored by Steve Kerr, but you're going to need some athleticism on your front line. One of those people they already have in James Wiseman.